I was looking at God's journey with Israel, and of course, every great man and woman that God uses in history, I discovered that each one of them, their journey with God began with a promise from God. But then, a promise doesn't mean guarantee fulfillment. We see that there's a requirement from God for every promise to be fulfilled. Now let's look at the story of Israel. For instance, it was God's promise to their fathers of Him taking them to promised land. But then, after many years in Egypt, the time came for God now to deliver them and to take them to the land He promised them. And then almost all the people that left Egypt do not enter the promised land, and that is include even Moses himself. It was only Joshua and Caleb that were able to enter the promised land. But how many people? About 2 millions that left Egypt. But look at it, how many of them enter? None of them. Why? But when they were in Egypt, God made a promise to them. He said, I am taking you to the promised land. I am taking every one of them believe when they were living in Egypt. But what happened that they were all consumed in the wilderness? We saw that, number one, they didn't fear God because they don't fear God. That was why they had issue with Him. And number two, we saw that they were not obedient to God because they did not fear God. They didn't obey Him. If you don't fear a man, you cannot obey him. But if you fear Him, you will obey Him. So we saw that these two things are very crucial to fulfillment of every dream. If we want our dream to be fulfilled, we must fear God. And number two, we must obey Him. But that is not all. Most of them that left Egypt came to the junction of entering the promised land, and that is Zabenatania. Zabenatania is the junction where they will enter the promised land. And what did God told them? He told them to enter, giving them the land. He has given them the people there. But when the report of the 12 came, almost all of them were afraid. Even though Joshua and Caleb insisted that yes, they can conquer the land, but because of the discouraging report that came from the other 10 people, they were discouraged and they began to be afraid, and they didn't enter to go and fight. And because of that unbelief, the Bible said the Lord told them to return back to the way of the wilderness, and that was how all of them have to die there, because that was what God told them before their children enter the promised land. So what do we see here? We must overcome fear if we really want to see our dreams come true, and also we must be obedient. And it doesn't matter what the obstacle we will face on our way to destiny. As far as God said we should do something, we should just do it. Yes, it may look dangerous, yes, it may look risky, but it doesn't matter. God's will is the best, and God's voice, command, is what we must obey. If all the dreams that we saw concerning our life when we were young will come true, then this thing is very crucial. So if I'm to summarize, I would say, number one, they were not God fearing. Because they were not God fearing, they were not obedient. Because of they are not obedient, they were also afraid. They were fearful people. They were afraid of the people that were occupying the land they were to enter, and so they didn't go to fight. And also we saw that the unbelief were also their major problems. They were not believing God. They were afraid and they did not enter. So we must conquer all those things if we want the promise of God concerning our life to be fulfilled.